hear me? Good evening, everybody. I'm so sorry. A little nervous. I got a big guest on here tonight. Good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday, September 30th, 2020, and we are at the last day for the month of September. And I'm so excited because October is right around the corner. Brand new month, brand new possibilities, and brand new expectations that you can set for yourself and all that good stuff. I'm just so excited to have you guys on tonight for another edition of Dialogues with Doc. Shahinda, you can't hear me. Can you hear me now? Hold on, let me fix it. All right, am I good? Can you guys hear me now? Shahinda, can you hear me? She gonna make sure cousin always right. Hold on. Can you guys out there hear me now? Are we good? Okay, perfect. So, again, good evening. This is Dialogues with Doc. This is my weekly baby. I just like to have dialogue and conversation. So I said during the COVID season, why not do something different and something more informative and just talk about different things each and every week with different people. So each week we talked about something different. This week is no different. This is going to be an amazing topic on this evening. This is going to have an amazing guest on here. We've been talking about this thing, and we're just so excited to talk about self. There's a lot of ways that we can go with this conversation. So depending on what my guest, well, I have some questions, but knowing my guest, she'll probably throw me off or something. I have to look back at my notes or whatever because she's just that chick that makes me come from a different direction on certain things. That's why I love her so much. I'm glad to have her on. We're going to talk about self tonight. We're going to have fun with it. We want you guys to engage in dialogue with us. We want you guys to share the broadcast. Do me a favor right now. If you're not sharing the broadcast, share the broadcast so you can invite someone else in to join in with us on tonight. So as we talk about this topic called self. Before we get started, you guys know how we do things around here. Let me put up my little thing to show you who I am in case it's your first time watching. This is Dialogues with Doc. I'm Dr. Calvin Green. I'm on Instagram at I am Doc Verde. And you can also follow the Instagram page for the show at Dialogues with Doc. Before we get started, you know how we always do this thing and kick it off. I need to know where you guys watching from. Where are you guys watching from on tonight? Put in the chat where you are watching from. I feel like Texas is in the building. There may be some DC in the building. There may be some the Caribbean people in the building watching as well. We never know where this broadcast may go, where it may land, what type of conversations this topic tonight may spark and may dialogue. But if you're watching right now and you've shared the broadcast, go ahead and put in the chat where you are watching from. Well, I'm watching and I'm hosting from DC, so I'm gonna throw that out there. DC is in the building, so I'm representing for the whole DC, the whole Maryland, the whole Virginia, and everybody around the way and down in the backwoods. Tejas is in the building. I see you, Tejas. Thank you for representing, cousin. Tejas is in the building. I want to go ahead and jump right into this topic on tonight because we got a lot to talk about. I got a great person to talk about it with. I'm so excited to have this guest on tonight. This is going to be a pretty interesting topic because this can go a bunch of different ways. But I do want to start off by acknowledging a mistake that I made. So I'm gonna be, I can be quite honest with y'all because we're family. We're family, and I like to keep it 100 and be transparent with my people. So my awesome and amazing guest on tonight, I had to bring her back because she was here in spirit last week, but unfortunately, I can be man enough to say I sent the message to the wrong email address. So I had an old email address, and she never got any of my messages. So I said, you know what? I got to bring you back and get you on for real. So I want to publicly apologize to my guest on tonight. I definitely, I just, when you know somebody for so long, you got the old email address and you thinking that's what the one she checking. She said, bro, I'm on Gmail. That's the old one. That's the old me. The new me over here on Gmail. So come on over here with me on the new Gmail. This is where I learned more about myself over here on the Gmail versus the AOL. So I got my sis on with me tonight. I'm so excited to have her. The topic tonight is the topic tonight is the power of self with Dr. Kreslin Fannin. So if you guys would do me a favor, you guys know how I do it. I'm not going to do anything any differently because my girl is on here tonight. Let me click these things off real quick. Give me 1 second. And on my one-man show, pray for me, work with me. I want to bring on Dialogues with Doc the right way. this is the only way to bring her on. So give me 1 second, because my sister's coming on. Just a second, y'all. Wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, come to the stage is none other than my sister, Dr. Creston Fanning, is in the building. Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Got to give my sister everything, and she's that. I love it. How are you this evening, Creston? How are you? How's everything?
Let me tell you, it's been a long day, but I am here. I promised you that I would be here. I'm sorry that I missed last week. I was like, wait a minute.
That's me.
I was like, what do you mean? You know, but I am here today to support my brother. I am very proud of you, Doc Verde. We're following each other's footsteps. We're always like 1-2 steps right there with each other. So, I'm loving this online platform and thinking maybe I might have some things to say. And, you have to show me the ropes on how to do this and do some more dialogues with Doc.
You and me, we go way back. So whatever you need, whatever I got, you got, just call me. And just like you said tonight, I got you. So, this is how we do things.
Absolutely.
That's how we hold each other down. I want you to start off by telling everybody just a little bit about who you are before we just dive into this awesome topic tonight on the topic of self. So just give everybody a drive by who you are, what you do, and all of this stuff.
The drive by. Okay. Well, let's see. I'm an academic professional, working in college, career, military readiness, working with federal programs, working with parent engagement, family engagement, doing things here in Austin, Texas, where they say they like to keep it weird. I've been here for about 2 years, working in a local school district, and really trying to see what we can do to make some changes for the state of Texas in the field of education and preparing our youth for today. So I made the big transition about 2 years ago from Dallas, Texas. My hometown, I was born in Tyler, Texas. I'm an East Texas trailblazer, as I like to say, a Tyler Rose, because that's where I was born. And after that, went to Baylor University undergrad and Texas A&M Commerce, right? That's our school where we went and got our graduate degrees and continued on in the workforce until I decided to go back to school with our friend, Dr. Michael Sorrell, who said, go back and get that doctorate degree. Who told you could only just have one? Look at me, I have two. And I said, oh man, I really don't want to do this, but God is calling me to do something higher and I can't shake it. Everywhere I was turning, I couldn't get anything to just happen for me going to get a different type of degree. And it was just like, okay, I got to do this. Let me sit down, let me be still, let me figure out what I got to do for me. And as we talk about the power of self, that's what that's all about. I had to make that decision for me and nobody else to say, this is what I'm going to do. What is God calling me to do? And what it was is he said, I need you to do my work for me. I need you to be a soldier for me. And that's what I did. So I went to seminary, which isn't far off from going to Baylor University, big Baptist school, raised in the church, Deacon Bruce, Deaconess Barbara, first Sundays, white dress, white gloves. You already know, right?
Come on.
Doing that. And here I am finding myself going to seminary, getting this doctorate degree in theological studies, but I also added an emphasis on youth consulting and youth counseling, and I'm loving it. I love to marry those two things. I just got off of a powerful conversation, a workshop that I did with some students from the Coca-Cola Foundation, talking to them about their journey and how to persevere through their senior year during this pandemic. And the biggest thing that I can tell them is to keep pushing, keep affirming themselves. You'll make it. This journey is not over. And
now, are they seniors in high school or college?
They're seniors in high school. And so they're experiencing a whole new thing of senioritis that we've never experienced before.
Yeah.
And just being able to be called upon to encourage them. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. I had a great time.
I love how you talked about this is my journey, or what I thought this was my journey, and God told me this wasn't my journey. You need to make a right turn where you should take it a left, and do it now. Don't move in haste. I need you to do it right now.
Right.
When you think about the influence of spirituality. And when you think about yourself, I want to pose my first question tonight because you already took me there.
I'm sorry. You know how I am now.
I got you.
Family. We just go.
Okay. How important is the whole self? How important is the whole self? And I'm talking about from the perspective of like your whole self, and then your wholeness, your psyche. So we can look at it from two different ways. The whole self, like what I see right now, and then the whole person as being whole. Some of us have had some things that mess up our wholeness. Happen to us.
You have to tap into it. Every aspect of your life, you have to do that checkpoint to say, okay, where am I here? For my personal life? Where am I here for my professional life? Where am I here with my family? Where am I here, just with taking care of me? Where am I here, as I look at my spiritual life? Where am I here emotionally? What's going on with me here? Doing those touch bases all the time to make sure that you have gone full circle with checking in with that whole self and saying, am I taking care of myself in this manner? Because when one area is off, it completely gets that balance off on the other side. So you got to make sure that you're juggling all of that and taking care of the whole self to be a whole being. It's important to do that with all of those different components that makes you. And let me tell you, I love me. I love me. We talked, you asked me a question, I think earlier when you told me to look over some things, you talked about self-love, and I love me. I look back and I say, man, I love me. When I get up in the morning, I'm so excited to be me. I couldn't imagine if I was someone else. When you talk about the whole me, I couldn't imagine if I was someone else. I couldn't imagine if I was made up of some other things that didn't make me. I don't even know if that makes any sense, but
no, it makes total sense. What it does is we get so caught up in what's happening around us, and then we begin to question what God made. And if God made me in his image, I'm the most perfect form and version of what he put in the mixing bowl to create me. And sometimes we go through phases and things in life where it makes us question the love for ourselves. It makes us question how we're moving. I'm not moving like Joe, or I'm not moving like Sally, or I'm not moving like anybody else. But what it does is it causes and it challenges us daily. Like you said, I get up every day and I love myself.
I love me.
We have to remind ourselves with a physical and a verbal affirmation that I'm the bomb. Like I don't feel like it today. I may be having an asthma attack in the morning when I wake up, but I still love me. I still love what God made. Now let me take care of it to keep this train moving. I love what you said. It's like we have to reaffirm ourselves each and every day, and especially with us working with children. Well, not children, but teenagers. I find myself oftentimes realizing that they don't have that. We are that pat on the back for them. They don't have that at home or in some of their communities. So we have to get them to understand and think along those things as well. Of self-love is important.
Yeah. And if one thing changes, one ingredient changes, we become someone else, so it's important to stay in tune with who you are and how God made you, because you are unique. It's only one set of footprints, and that's yours. It doesn't belong to anybody else. Same thing with your fingerprint. It's yours. It doesn't belong to anybody else. If you change one thing about you, you become someone else.
And that's identity.
He especially made you with the ingredients that you are in. And my mom used to say this all the time, she 3 kids, I have an older brother and a younger sister, and I'm right there in the middle. She says, each of you are different. You are all made differently. She said, but you were cut from a different cloth. Have you heard that before? You were cut all the time. She probably took that from my grandmother, but she says, you were cut from a different cloth. And I'm like, you know what, I was, but I love me. And if you change me just a little bit, I may end up being someone different. I could have been my sister, but I love me. That the whole me. So when we talk about the whole me and I love me, I'm gonna pose this next question to you. Okay.
So self is a word many people struggle with. What has this pandemic taught you about yourself? So when we think about ourselves, a lot of times we don't think about it from different angles, but this pandemic has totally made us recalibrate how we think, recalibrate how we move, recalibrate how we interact with people. I'm gonna give you this now because I can't do this no more. But what has this pandemic taught you about yourself?
I feel like I was already really protective of my space and my time and my energy, the things that are going on in my spiritual life in my house, about who I bring in and out. So for me, it wasn't as much as a shift there as far as my day-to-day activities, except for wearing the mask every day, you know. I mean, I think we all can probably say, okay, we're gonna wash our hands, we're gonna make sure, you know, sanitize, and we're carrying that cute little thing on our purses, different things like that. We're all taking care of ourselves in a sense of that. But the solitude, solitude is where I would say I found myself looking deep and saying, wow, this pandemic has really affected me in a way that I didn't expect. Being able to be in a room by myself, weeks on hand, and understanding that if I walk outside that door, okay, there are all kinds of things going on. Let me sit down, shelter in place, take care of me, and just stay quarantined with me. But even in doing that and saying, okay, I am here by myself. I'm in Austin, Texas. I'm by myself. What that pandemic taught me was that I wasn't alone. See, it's one thing to be by yourself.
Come on.
But I wasn't alone because I had Jesus with me. Come on now. You knew I was going to bring it home.
I knew you was going to bring it.
I asked you before, I was like, how far can I go with this?
You go wherever you want to go because this is Dialogues with Doc. We don't have.
I was never alone. And
we go there.
That was some of the best time that I had of having that solitude where it's just me and Jesus. And I'm just talking to him every day, all day. And I was never lonely. And I learned a lot about me. I learned that I could persevere through all of this, the changes and things that we were seeing where we were still working from home and still trying to figure out what was going on in the world. And all we had was maybe a television set, a radio, our cell phones, and we're FaceTiming Marco Polo, you know, trying to do all those things just to stay connected. But I was still never alone. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the relationship that I have with my Savior, because if I didn't have that, I don't know where I would be. And I don't want to find out either.
I definitely don't want to find out. The thing about it is, a lot you said, solid. Some would say that, how do you say it? Just say it, Calvin. Solitude puts you in places to tap into things you wouldn't normally be involved in. So I said it to say, when you're finding yourself and when you're changing paths that you've traveled and circles that you've been in for so long and things like that, some people find it challenging to still find them, to still be with themselves in the midst of all of that. And I love how you said, I was able to spend more time with my Savior. I was able to meditate more.
Absolutely.
And able to make a good use of the time that I have by myself, because, you know, some people are afraid to be by themselves. But this pandemic has taught us sometimes that's the best place to be is by yourself, because for me being by myself caused me to focus and work even more on my creativity pieces, which is how this Dialogue Doc came about. I was just he worked on my creativity of doing that moment of solitude, said, you need to be doing something else. You're called to do something greater. You're called to have dialogues with people about real life topics and not be afraid to step outside the box. So I love what you said, because it definitely reaffirms something for me that I may have been struggling with in my mind, because I was like, well, should I be doing this? Should I not be doing this? But you gave me the confirmation I need.
Absolutely. We had an opportunity to really just dig deep into all of those passion projects that we wanted to do, right? That this pandemic gave us time in the world to be able to say, what are those passion projects that I have? What are those things that I put off? That closet that I needed to clean out and take out all those clothes that I'm not wearing and give that away to someone who might need it, right? Just taking care of different things that you put on the back burner that you said, I'm gonna get to it. Going back over that list, I keep a journal with me. I keep everything written down. I'm very big on writing things down and going back. There it is. See, going back through those and saying, what are the things that I said that I would take care of? Where was I this time last year? And now I have this great opportunity to tackle some of those things that maybe I didn't get to check off my list that could make a difference, not only in my life, but in someone else's life, and being able to do that. I actually got a chance during the pandemic to connect more with my sister and her family and her kids, and become the auntie that I've always wanted to be. And being away from my family in Austin, Texas, that gave me the opportunity to do that and to develop that relationship that I've always wanted to do with my nieces and nephews. So definitely the pandemic gave us an opportunity to really do those things.
So you're in Austin, Texas, by yourself. Family's in Dallas. So I know that we talked about the lonely piece, and I got Jesus, but Jesus will sometimes send some things and some people to the pass by you that may make your eye go, or make you smile.
Right.
I'm gonna go into this part of what's your definition of self-love.
Oh gosh. Well,
so Chris is at Applebee's, just grabbing something to eat real quick, and this nice gentleman comes up and tries to holler. But I love my definition of self-love.
I always tell young ladies that I talk to,
because I love myself before I even enter. Because you love yourself before you even enter the space.
This is true. I tell them there is a difference between having expectations and having standards. You have to set the standard for what you want for yourself. You have to love yourself enough to know what your standards are. Now, expectations are something different because that's what you're putting on someone else. And if they don't know that you put that on them, they will fail every single time. So what you do is you set the blueprint for the standard for yourself, because this is who you are. This is what makes you work. This is what you need to be brought into your life. And honestly, I just pray about it all the time. And I ask God, less of me, more of you. I talk to him and I say, you know what, not what I want, but what I need. And that makes a world of difference. And it's not just about relationships, you know, male, female relationships or anything like that. It's even when it's just a friendship, even if it's just a coworker, different people that you're inviting in your space, you have to love yourself more to say, you know what, let me have a little bit of discernment about this. You know, is this what I need to bring into my space? I love me so much that I got to protect me. And I got to make sure that, you know, everything around me and the people that I bring into my space, that you're supposed to be here at such a time as this.
I love it. I love me so much that I got to protect me. I'm over here writing that down.
I love so much that I got to protect me. Yeah.
I got to protect me.
Put that in your book.
You see, I'm over here putting in my show notes.
Because you're gonna be an author. You're gonna write this book, and I can't wait to read it. I can't wait to read it. Come on now. We gotta get this bestseller.
Look, I'm gonna write this book one day. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. It's been. I gotta birth it. So I'm
yeah, you gotta birth this book. It's got to come into fruition. It's supposed to be here. So we ready. We ready when you are. How about that?
We ready. How about that? So has there ever been a point in your life where you dated yourself? I love myself so much that I'm not going to allow anybody to put me into a space where I have to second guess myself, to think of what they say, lead in my heart of hearts. I just need to take a time to just let me date myself. So have you ever been in a space like that where you just had to break down yourself, and what did you do?
Well, you know, they say that all the time that you are either going into something or you're coming out of something. And so I think that when you're in that transition time, that's where you take a moment to reflect on what you learned from what you're coming out of, and use that introspect to make good decisions as you are going into dating. And during that time, that meantime, that's where you are dating yourself. But I don't think that it ends just because you meet someone and, you know, the stars are, you know, a little bit brighter and your heart is pumping a little bit faster. I still think that you have to date yourself and take care of you as well. I don't think that you ever stop dating yourself. You know, I'm always going to treat myself and make sure I'm good. You know, even when you get your paycheck, they tell you, make sure you take out, you know, what you need to take out for the Lord. Take that 10th out, right? Pay all your bills, but also pay you, right? So always taking care of doing something for you, right? Work hard, play harder.
Work hard, play harder. Because some people would argue and say and say that it's strange to date yourself. I found that it's not strange. It is very common to date yourself. I don't mind going to the movies by myself. I know what I want to see. I don't want to have to argue about a ticket, and I want to see. I don't mind going to eat by myself. I don't mind going on trips by myself. I don't want to have to argue with anybody about what I want to do when I get there, what I want to eat, where I want to go. I want to just go by myself. And with me being an only child, I find it so much easier to do things like that because I don't have to answer anybody. I just do me. But people find it strange to date themselves. I said, let me ask my sister this question to make sure I'm not tripping and make sure I'm good. Because
I'm going to get my hair done just because. I'm going to get a facial just because. I'm getting my nails done just because. I'm going to get a massage just because. All of that is a part of that self-care. All of that is a part of dating myself. You don't have to do all that and dress up nice just because you have somewhere to go. Dress nice and do that because that's what you like, because you want to feel a certain way, because you like looking at yourself in whatever that makes you feel good. Put that perfume on just because you like the way that it smells. You don't have to do it for anybody else. Do it for you. Do it for you. Traveling by yourself, let me tell you. My line sister, we call ourselves Thelma and Louise. And if you ever have her join you on your show, if you join on hers, she is notorious for hopping on a plane and going somewhere by herself. And I look up and I see her on Instagram having the time of her life. I said, what are you doing? Where are you? She goes, oh, girl, I flew out. I'm here. I said, you know what? I'm going to have to take a page from her book. Now, traveling is one of those things where I enjoy going with people. I enjoy traveling with others. I'm easy to get along with, so I enjoy traveling with others. But I don't mind traveling by myself. I'm not going to drive. Everybody knows I don't like to drive. That's not my thing. It never was my thing, and I'm not even going to fake it. I'm not a driver. I don't even like to drive to Dallas. Let me just put that out there. But I will hop on a plane quickly. Yeah, quickly. Okay. There's some great deals out there. I should come to DC.
The Bully. We can go to Teddy and the Bully and pick right back up. That's one of my favorite brunch spots.
That's our spot.
I think that that's our spot. That's our spot. You know, it's important. You know, you talked about self-care, and you kind of tapped on it already. But can you really stress the importance of it to people? You know, people hear it all the time, but we live and work in a space in education, and we all know what the heck is going on in education right now. We know we have a bully in the White House. We know last night reaffirmed that. We know the educational space is up in arms right now, especially with all this virtual stuff going on. And self-care is something that every educator, no matter what field you work in, K through 8, 9 through 12, higher ed, on the admin side, in the corporate, in the community office side, or district office level, self-care is important. Can you stress from your perspective how important it is, and what are some things that Kreslin does outside of the one she already said that helps her take care of herself?
When you talk about the importance of it, okay, shameless plug, The Shift, right here, Pastor Keon Henderson. Thank you. There is a chapter 7. There is a section in chapter 7 that he talks about stress tests.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. He was right on it when he talked about stress tests. You have to take some time, like we do on the Sabbath, to say, this is downtime for me to reprioritize everything that is important, taking some time for me and recalibrating, right? So he talks about choosing a day that is just for you, focusing in on family, reconnecting with people that you haven't talked to in a while, sitting still and just being still. I don't have anything to do. I'm not doing no laundry today. I'm not washing no dishes. I'm not cleaning. I'm just going to sit still and do nothing. And when people call you and say, what you doing? Nothing. You really mean? So it's important to do that self-care. Turn the phone off if you have to. If you can't get enough of Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, turn it off. Turn the phone off. Let the people who are important to you know, hey, you know what? Today is a day of self-care. So outside of the things that I mentioned, putting that phone on do not disturb, I'm going to do that and take that time for me so that I'm not, looking at the phone or expecting, something to pop up, the light comes on, or be too tempted to look at that. Put it on do not disturb. And if it's somebody that is really important, they need to get through, then on the iPhone, you got favorites, they'll come right on through. But taking your own Sabbath. If it's Sunday, it's typically what we do. But if you're in the church and you're preaching like Pastor Keon Henderson, he says that he has to take a different day because he's at church all day on Sunday. So taking that day, somebody said in your comments, 7th day rest is so fulfilling. Yes, it is.
It is.
And taking that time for yourself to recharge and prioritize what's important. Because I think you'll get to, he talks about it in his book about the discernment that you need in order to figure out what is important and what's a priority to you. Because sometimes, Calvin, we get so busy in doing, working. We don't even know what's a priority. Our list is so long. We don't even know what's a priority. We don't even know which one I got to get to first. I just know I got this list and I got to get to it. So sometimes you got to shut it down, take that moment to just breathe, sit back and be still and listen. And he'll give it to you and he'll tell you, you know what? This right here, this is what's important. Seeing my nieces and my nephews and spending time with my family, that's what's important today.
Sometimes she go to the lake and don't answer nobody. I love it. She goes to the lake and she don't answer anybody.
Yeah, there you go. Put that phone on silent, put it on do not disturb, and take some time.
I have to get. I'm gonna be honest with you, sis. I have to get better with that. I will say that for me, I finally was at a point where I had gotten the equation down for work and home life balance. I was like, it took me a while to get it. I finally got it. And now I'm in my groove, and I'm being quite transparent right now. I'm in my groove, and I'm going. And then smack in March, COVID hit.
Right.
I'm like, dang, okay. So I finally got my groove. I finally got I'm finally leaving work and going home and decompressing. And some days, honestly, sometimes being in education, we bring our scholars home with us. And it begins to weigh and wear on us. I will literally come in the house, take a shower, and I would get in the bed, and I would sit in the bed for like an hour in the dark just to like come down from the day and kind of like take the heavy load off because we work in a stressful environment where I work with a lot of inner city kids as well. Who I'm that father figure for them. I'm that extra person, that extra pat on the back that gives them affirmations and encouragement and things like that. And we take on their problems. And so I finally got to a point where I got the work home life balance down. COVID hits, and then you tell me 2 weeks later we working from home. Okay, my apartment ain't that big. So I can't put work in one room and then have another room. So everything was all over the place. And then I'll go from this room to the other room, and I'm like, dang, I got work in here too. So it's like I can't escape this work thing. And then my work day's supposed to end at 4:15. I'll end it by about 4:30, 5 o'clock. Trying to get this pre-diabetics diagnosis down. So I go do my walk and get active, to get 30 minutes of activity, to get your heart rate pump and stuff like that. Come in, take my shower because I'm sweating, and then I'll sit down for a second and I forgot to do such and such. So now I'm back again, opening up my laptop, doing some more work because we're working from home. So I finally got my formula down, and then COVID hit and messed me all the way back up again. But I'm back on the road to self-care, of taking that time for myself, of being intentional in what I do on the weekends, being intentional of spending time with myself. Sometimes it's just, and sometimes the other big piece for me is trying new things. I don't know how I'm gonna make it. But I'm gonna try this hiking thing one day because I keep seeing all these people hiking. I'm still recovering from my surgery on my quad tendon, so I'm still healing from that. But I'm like, I want to try this hiking thing. I want to try this DC bike. This is a group of people that ride the bikes around DC in the evening. I want to try that. So I'm open to trying new things outside of the normal things that I would traditionally do as part of self-care as well. So I want to challenge those watching as well. When you think about self-care, think outside the norm as well. Don't just do the things that you normally do. Think about some other things as well. Think about taking that trip by yourself, Kreslin.
Exactly. Yeah.
Think about just tell everybody where you're going and keep your iPhone so we can always know where your location is. Just try some new things in this self-care space, guys.
Exactly. I love the hiking thing you just said too. I love the hiking thing. I started doing that this summer as well, and I'm enjoying it. Gave me a chance to go and buy some cute Danner boots too. So, Austin is full of different trails, things like that you can, hit up. We have Mount Bunnell here is one of the great places where you can see all of Austin and look over Lake Travis. And so I had lived here for almost 2 years and never been. And I was just like, man, I am missing out on a lot of things because I'm not opening my mind up to things outside of my normal purview. I need to open up and be a little bit more, receptive to what the world has to offer. Because like you said, during this pandemic, it really gave us a chance to look at the things that we take for granted as well. And we get up, we move around, we go here, we happy hour, all those kinds of things. But when we were locked in our houses on shelter in place, it gave you an opportunity to say, I'm missing so much. Where's the times when I used to do this and get to just meet up with my friends? And you start looking at things from a different lens. And so I think that made me kind of go back to the drawing book and start writing down things that I want to try. It gave you that perspective to say, let me get myself in gear. What is it that I want to do? Things that I want to try that I haven't done yet, So
no, you're totally right.
Get that mountain bike. Get those hiking boots and you go for it.
I can't get a mountain bike. They done bought them all. I've been trying. Like I went to Walmart. They was all sold out. I went online. They was all. I'm hoping that somebody will refresh their inventory soon and I can get one. Until then, I'll just keep paying to ride the ones around DC. But trust me, I went to Walmart with the Target gone. I'm like, dang, everybody want a bike. Yeah, everybody want to be Tour de France.
That's right. Yeah, everybody's trying something new. This is our new normal, outdoor activities, very popular right now. It's our new normal. And I don't think that it's going to change. I think we are going to become accustomed to it. And it's a good thing because it allows for us to get out there, breathe some good fresh air, see the world from a different lens, and really just enjoy what life has to hold.
Definitely. What do you think about so I want to just tap into self-love, self-care, self-regulation, and self-discovery. So let's look at self-love, self-care, self-regulation, and self-discovery. Okay. If you had to rank those in order of importance to you, how would you rank them? Self-love, self-care, self-regulation, and self-discovery. So think about it from the Dr. Kreslin Fannin lens of when you look at those four things, which one would you rank first? And then,
Definitely self-love. Love covers a multitude of things, right?
Come on.
So I'm going to go with self-love as being the most important thing. I don't mean that it's selfish. I think it's actually selfless. They tell you to put your mask on first before you help somebody else, right? So that I can
have my notes over here.
So what I'm gonna say is self-love. Take care of you so you can be a better you for somebody else, right? So then I will go with self-care after that. If I take care of me, watching what I put inside my body, right? The food that I eat, drinking more water. Those big old jugs that you need to get from Amazon that has, the time of day where you're supposed to, and be down at a certain level on that water, taking care of you, right? All those things. Less fried foods, get you an air fryer, whatever you got to do to take care of you. And then I'm definitely going to go with maybe self-discovery, because I think once you're doing that, you're discovering new things about yourself. You're peeling back those layers and digging deep. I think you need to dig deep to try to figure out what are those things that make you tick? What are those things that make you you? We talked about that a little bit earlier. When you dig back and pull back those layers, you're also going to find out those things maybe from your childhood that made you who you were, that helped to craft who you were and mold you of who you are. Whether it was a functional family or a dysfunctional family.
Mm-hmm.
Finding out what that is, tackling that self-discovery, going to therapy or whatever it is that you need to do. It's nothing wrong with going to therapy. I love therapy. To discover those things and get down to the root cause. And that's what we call it in education, root cause. We're doing our district improvement plan and campus improvement plan, the root cause, right? Keep asking why. Oh, this is how I feel, but why?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and keep asking why. And then ask why again, and then ask why again, till you get down to the root cause. There it is. And then after that, I'm probably going to say self-regulation. When I think about self-regulation, I think about the accountability part of it. Mm-hmm. I may not be able to always do that self-regulation for myself. I may not always be able to say, self, you got to get up and you got to go to the gym today. But I might just have an accountability partner that says, did you go to the gym today? Come on, girl, let's go together. I'm on my way. Yeah. We're gonna go walking around the neighborhood together. So when I think of that self-regulation, I associate that with that accountability and having an accountability partner that's looking out for me as well. Mm-hmm. And that's going to help me be a better me. And our friend, may he rest in peace, Dr. Wright Lassiter, he always used to say this to us every time he met with us and said something when he was in a setting. He would say, the biggest room in the house is the room for improvement. I will never forget that.
He would always say that.
He would always say that.
And when I was younger and he would say it, I would be like, you would hear him say it, but now as I'm older, I fully understand the context behind it and what it actually meant. And it's like it puts fire within you and around you to let me get myself together and improve upon some things.
That's right.
And I put these in this order. I put it in the same order that you did. I said self-love, self-care, self-discovery, and self-regulation. Mm-hmm. Now, but give me maybe 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have ranked them in that order. I know for me, maybe 10 years ago, I probably would have had self-regulation first because this mouth over here, would get me caught up into some, I would just speak and think after. So now I'm able to think before I speak more. Now I really understand why mom would say God gives you 2 ears and 1 mouth. More intently than before, So, and then I would say self-discovery 10 years ago as well, because when we're in our 30s, we're trying to figure
it all out.
We're just trying to figure this thing out and successfully navigate. I'm just coming out of college, the whole breaking into corporate America. If this is what I really want to do, do I finish this degree because I'm almost done paying for it and then go into this vein of my master's? You're trying to figure those type of things out. And then of course I would say self-love and self-care then, but now it's without a doubt at this age it's self-love, self-care, self-discovery, and self-regulation. And the self-discovery jumped up maybe 6 months ago, right when COVID hit. It's like, let me find out that I don't care if other people like me. Do I like me? Let me find out some different things about myself that I may not have thought about or even had been afforded the opportunity to even think about or consider. Like, I didn't know how noisy my neighbors were until I had to stay home for 6 months. I'm like, damn, can y'all quit moving furniture or whatever y'all doing? Like, you find out different things about yourself in solitude.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Didn't that teach you and give you an opportunity to get to know your neighbors?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever thought about how many times we just kind of pull right on into our garage or pull into our parking space? We're not paying attention to what's going on around us. And before you know it, you live there for, 6 to 8 months and you don't even know your neighbors.
Don't even know your darn neighbors.
Something happened and you don't even know, and they like, okay, well, you've been there 6 to 8 months, you ain't never needed anything. So it definitely, put some importance on that too, getting to know the people around you and watching your environment too.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna take you back.
Okay.
Take you back in the time.
Okay.
If you could tell the 18-year-old or 21-year-old Crescent something, what would it be? So, I mean, you're only 25 now, but if you could tell the 18 or 21-year-old Crescent something, kind of like what Grandma would say, if I knew back then what I know now, what would it be?
It's not that serious. It's a serious matter.
I knew you were going to slide that in there.
I'm just saying. One time for my sorors, you know what I'm saying? It's a serious matter, but it's not that serious.
It's not that serious.
And I say that because we live in a world that is ever changing. Mm-hmm. You know, if you look back on, you know, our great grandparents and all the things that they had to endure, they probably would have never thought about the things that we're doing now. You know, you've seen the shirts that said, "I make my ancestors proud," you know, mm-hmm. Or I'm not my ancestors, you know. Who would have ever thought that we would be here in 2020 and that these are the things that we would be experiencing, you know? Even when Barack Obama became president and we had the first African-American president for the United States of America, who would have ever, our ancestors would have never thought that that could happen in a lifetime. And we got to see all of this happening. So yeah, you know, I would probably say to her, it's a serious matter, but it's just not that serious. Things are going to change. Things are going to get better. It's okay. If you mess up, it's okay. When I meet with the youth that I counsel, one thing that I always say, and I you know me, I make no concessions about who I am and being a Christian woman. And I tell them, I say, you know what? If you are a believer, no matter if you turn left and you should have gone right, no matter if you go right and you should have turned left, if you are a believer, then no matter which way that you turn, you will always reach your destiny because he's going to get you there because he never fails.
Never.
He never fails. So the job that you think that you should have got, there's another door that's open because he never fails. That one wasn't for you. It didn't have your name on it.
And it could be, and it could be too the next time.
The guy that you thought you were supposed to be with, well, if that didn't work out, guess what? That wasn't the one for you. And it's okay because you are going to reach your destiny and be where you were supposed to be.
Because it's a serious matter, but it's not this serious.
But it's not that serious. You're going to get there. You're going to get there.
I love how you even tied the destiny piece into it as we talk about the topic of self. Our destiny isn't tied to other people's. And so oftentimes we as individuals second and third guess ourselves and our paths because it doesn't look like that person's or this person's. Well, God's making the path for you, so it's not going to look like anybody else's because his path is specifically designed and is tailor-made for you. So yeah, you may have to climb 5 mountains to get to the top where someone may have only had to climb 1. But there was a lesson in the path that you took that is attached to your destiny. And when you're able to understand it and think along those lines and from that perspective, it helps you better understand yourself and why you are made different from other people. And it helps you even more intentionally recognize that whole self-discovery phase because that's the phase that we never tap out of. We're always discovering something new about ourselves each and every day. We're always learning something new. We're all lifelong learners. And that's just a part of the self piece. As you grow and as you mature and get older, you're going to always keep learning and find out different things about yourself, about people, about your environment, about any and everything. I love it.
I'm glad you said that about the different levels and where you have to go and you reach this level and another person comes and they're reaching their own level and it's not a competition. You know, my good friend Ray Person, we used to always say to each other, capacity. Everybody doesn't have the same capacity. You know? He may be taking me here and I may reach that a little bit slower than you, and you may be here and you may get there quicker than me, but I may have a few more flights that I got to climb because my capacity is different from yours. That's right. It doesn't mean that it's good or bad or indifferent. It just is what it is because we are uniquely made. And he knows how much that he can put on us, right? It says he's never going to put more on you than you can bear. Well, that goes back to that capacity. What is your capacity? How much can you hold? Same thing when it comes to love. How much can you hold, right? Somebody may come to you and may want to just give you everything that they got. And you say, wait a minute, I can't hold all that. That's too much.
Too much. And I'm not a hoarder.
Too much, too fast, right? You know, capacity.
I love it.
Sometimes we need just a little bit, you know, right? Take me slow.
Mm-hmm.
And I need just a little bit. Take me, you know, in small pieces. Whereas everybody else, I want mine now. Give me mine now. Give me everything that you got right now. So that capacity. Yeah.
And it's funny you said capacity. I'm looking at my notes I wrote tonight. I said, I don't know why I'm writing this down, but I'm gonna write it down. And you talk about capacity. And I have on this note that said you can't pour from an empty cup.
There it
so when you're selfish about yourself, and you talked about that earlier as well. Sometimes we have to get selfish with ourselves, and we have to guard ourselves and guard our everything in and around us, because that if I allow someone to penetrate that barrier, it's going to affect myself, my self-love, my self-care, my self-regulation, my self-discovery. But what happens is we have to be mindful of the fact that we have to be very guarded at times, because that's a part of our self-care piece as well, because we can't pour from an empty cup. It pains me when I can't give my best to my students because I'm not my best self.
Right.
When I have to present on a topic for them or teach a class or something like that, and I know they probably didn't get what I wanted for them because I wasn't my best self. We wake up each and every day wanting to give our best selves to the students that we serve, or the staff members that we serve. So and we know when we wake up in the morning if it's gonna be if we feeling like I'm empty and I don't have anything to pour. And you talk about the accountability piece as well. I have a friend at work, Dr. Wells. I love her. Dr. Wells is she's my accountability partner, where she's a school psychologist. So sometimes I'll go in her office and say, sis, I ain't got it today. She's like, bro, you got to dig deep. And I'm like, but I ain't got. She's like, bro, it's only 8:05 and we got to make it to about 4:15. So I'm gonna need you to dig deep today. And she checks me and gets me together so that I can be my best self for my students and for my staff. And then some days she comes to me like, Green, I'm like, I ain't got. I'm like, okay, sis, you got to dig deep. This is one of those dig deep days. Yeah. And it causes us to sometimes say, well, you know what? I had to dig deep today as a part of that self-care piece. Maybe tomorrow is a mental health day. Maybe I need to take a day to myself to breathe and recharge. And yeah, that's whoever's watching, take care of yourself, because what's going to happen is if something happens to you and God forbid you die, they're not going to do nothing but post your job on the website the next day. So take care of yourself. That's my disclaimer. Take care of yourself, because they ain't gonna do nothing but refill your position and keep that train moving.
You're so busy filling somebody else's cup that you can become empty, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember Bishop Jakes was talking about how you can be, empty, and he was like saying like there's nothing else there, nothing else to give, and you just feel like you're just out of gas, And I think there is a huge difference between, just being out of something and being completely empty. Because even in that container of who you are, there's still space there. You ever seen the science demonstrations where they keep pouring things in? And they say, can we fit anything else in here? Can we fit anything else in here? And they're pouring water in there, and they're putting rocks in there. They're putting all kinds of things in there to fill it up, right? But then there comes a point when we become empty. And TD Jakes talked about that. You have to figure out who is going to fill your cup. While you're busy filling somebody else's, who is filling yours? So when you're having those days where you're like, oh, I might need to take a mental health day. I got to dig deep. Today's a dig deep. Who's your tribe? When you have those things, who's your tribe? You make that one phone call and say, okay, tribe, here it is. Who's your circle of people? Who's your advisors? You find you 3 to 4 or 5 people that you can depend on that's going to lift you up, that's going to fill you up. And there's always space in there. Even when you think that your cup is full and it's got everything that you can think of in there, you're like, there's no more space. There's room.
Yep.
There's room. And you have to help dig deep and have your team of people figure out, how can I make this work?
That's right.
How can I make this work? I'm empty.
I'm empty, and oftentimes we it's like I told my mom recently. I said, it's hard when you're the one that's always encouraging somebody, but what happens when you need to be encouraged? People always come to you for I need help with this, or I need to be encouraged on this or on that. And when you're empty and don't have anything left to give, who pulls you to the side and who pours into you? And this is just a part of that whole self, the power of self. There is so much power in yourself that you don't know what capacity you can actually hold. But when you're empty, you're empty. You have to be very mindful of when you're empty and when you tapped out. There's nowhere else to go. You can't go left. You can't go right. You can't collect. You can't pass go. You can't collect $200. You're just empty. But you have to have someone to be able to pour back into you when you get to points like that. And it's funny you say that, because there have been times when I've reached out to you when I was on my journey professionally, and I was looking, and you were one of the main people, bro. Stay faithful, stay encouraged. It's going to get better. I was empty. I mean, I would never admit to it then, but as I've gotten older now, you have to be able to admit when you're weak. You need to be poured into when you don't know which way to go or how you're going to maneuver through this thing. And there are people that don't even know they're pouring into you because you're so empty. And it's crazy that this is now we're on this platform like this, and it's all coming full circle. So no,
listen, you just said something that you came to me and we talked about. You were like, I'm empty. I don't even know where else to go. I don't know what to do. But remember that when you're empty, there's still some residue somewhere in there, right?
Come on, residue.
You can be empty, but not dry. You can be empty, but not. There's some residue somewhere in there, right? Think of that cup, that glass of water that you had. And you drink all your water and you say, it's empty. But guess what? There's still some residue somewhere in there. There's still some space, some air, something in there, right?
Yep. It's something in there.
Fill back up to be replenished.
And if all they get to a foreign partner.
You got to figure out how to get that back. You got to build that tribe. You got to build that circle. Come on, Cherish Grill Pipkin. Empty, but not dry. Come on, Reverend.
Empty, but not dry. And get to a foreign partner. I love it.
I want you to think about that glass of water that you just had. And you drink it all, and you say, I'm empty. I don't have nothing else to give.
All I got.
You're not dry. You're not dry. You got too many people in your circle, right, that can fill you back up. You have replenishment. You call your friends, you call your people, you call your tribe, and I guarantee you it will still come back to life. Yeah.
That's it. Well, let me tell you something. So my sister then completely came on here and wrecked. This last piece about the residue. If you didn't catch it, catch the replay on YouTube, because this is something that needs to be watched and shared and played again. My sister, I know you've had a long day. I thank you so much for stopping by Dialogues with Doc tonight. I really appreciate you so much. Tell the people how they can keep. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. I don't want to be rude. Tell us about the Crescent Group and Coach.
Okay. Thank you for that. The Crestland Group. Oh man, started that years ago, thinking I was just going to get out there and maybe have some events and throw some parties, but it really emerged into a full-fledged, PR agency where we're doing some consulting and some management for some different educational companies and individuals, really doing some consulting for them and helping them figure out their journey, where they want to be. My nonprofit is the Coach Foundation, which stands for Creating Opportunities Academically for College Hopefuls. We are a nonprofit 501c3 that specializes in college readiness for high school athletes and preparing them before they graduate from high school. And we have been so successful with working with our high school athletes. Some of them are now in the NFL and the NBA, doing great things and coming back and giving back to these young people that we work with. But everything kind of comes full circle. And we really had an opportunity to expand our services. My sister has her doctorate degree from A&M Commerce, and we've been working together on our new project called the Dissertation Circle, and we're going to be doing some consulting, working with people who are working on traditional and non-traditional doctorate degrees, and really trying to help people reach their destiny. That's what it's all about. It's helping them reach their destiny. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. We also have the Black Coat Society, which is coming to you. So I think I talked to you about working with me on that and being a part of my advisory board with the Black Coat Society. And I definitely want to share this. A lot of times what happens is when you go to medical schools and they have their white coat ceremony, they always get their jacket with their family on stage. And those of us who don't have an MD, we don't get to do that. We do get to experience getting hooded on stage, but we don't get our white coat ceremony with my family on the stage. They put that on me. So my sister and I created the Black Coat Society, where we're going to be working with those who have a doctorate degree, and it doesn't matter in any type of area, any type of genre. We're going to be working with you and calling upon you to be a circle around those who are trying to make it through their dissertation phase, those coaching those who want to get into a doctoral program but don't know which route they want to go. So definitely going to be asking for you to be a part of that. The Black Coat Society is going to be offering scholarships to those who need financial assistance as working adults trying to pay for their doctoral degree. So definitely going to need your support there. Your black coat.
I got you. And one last thing, tell the people how they can keep up with you. Like, are you on social media? How can they follow you?
I'm all over social media, Instagram, I know Cress, because when you meet me, you'll be able to say, I know Cress. Yeah. Let's see. Facebook, you can find me at Cresslin Fannin. Most places, LinkedIn, Cresslin Fannin, Dr. Cresslin Fannin. Email address, just creslinfannin@gmail.com if you need me. But Snapchat, Facebook, IG, Twitter, you name it, I'm there. Easy to find me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Dialogues with Doc. We've talked about the power of cell phone tonight with Dr. Cresslin Fannin. Dr. Fannin, thank you so much for joining me on tonight's dialogue. I'll be back next Wednesday at 8 p.m. With another topic for Dialogues with Doc. Hope you guys continue to have an amazing week. I will see you guys again on next Wednesday. Bye-bye, everybody.